So our idea is to let people cook in LlamaIndex, build whatever they want, using the tools that they want.
And we are going to build this agent using our LlamaIndex agent wrapper. What this basically gives you is you define an overall agent that can reason over some set of tools given a user input, and decide which tools to take in to actually solve the task at hand.
Once you're done debugging it and playing around with it, of course, you can pack and publish this directly into UiPath.
You can basically build these agents in like 3 minutes if you don't want to actually write the code.
Let's build some agents, folks. Let's get them to production.
Everyone, I'm Jerry, co-founder and CEO of LlamaIndex. For those of you who don't know, LlamaIndex is a developer-first platform to help you build AI agents over your documents, and we're super excited to collaborate with Taki and the UiPath team to show you what the joint integration looks like.
I'm Taqi Jaffri. I lead product for UiPath Enterprise Agents. And I'm just super excited to join Jerry here and talk about how UiPath and LlamaIndex can work together to develop these enterprise agents in a code-first way. So Jerry, I think let's start. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about LlamaIndex and Llama Cloud? Certainly the UiPath audience may not be familiar with it. So why don't you show us a little bit about what Llama Cloud is, and maybe show us an example in LlamaIndex agents.
Yeah, for sure. And so for those of you who are less familiar with LlamaIndex, we started off as an open source framework, but these days we really have two main products, all towards this goal of helping you automate document workflows with AI agents. The first piece is Llama Cloud. And so you can think of Llama Cloud as the data foundation or building blocks around document processing, extraction, and indexing. These are the core modules you need to make sure your data is high quality and structured in the right way, so that you can actually provide that as context to your AI agents. So I'll start off showing a little bit of Llama Cloud, because that's the thing that's going to help actually index your knowledge base and make that available to your agents. And then show you how you can actually build an orchestration layer on top of that, or an agentic workflow on top of that data, using our code-based multi-agent framework. So I'll start off just sharing my screen, share a little bit of Llama Cloud. And we're going to go right into the index feature. So Llama Cloud has a few different pieces to it. It has document parsing, extraction, and indexing. And for the purposes of this demo, we're going to be indexing a few different documents around company policies as well as travel guidelines. And so here there's a few .txt files that we've uploaded into the knowledge base. And so this, they're not super complicated PDFs. They're just like direct text files. But you can actually upload really, really complicated documents on here too, if you wanted to, whether it's, reports with a lot of images and charts, whether it is kind of invoices or just like things that are very complex in nature. We have a lot of core OCR technology to convert that text or convert that document into well-structured Markdown. This also includes an Excel file, which includes travel rates per country. And this is going to be used within the demo that we're going to show. So what Llama Cloud does with the indexing feature is you can basically build a knowledge base of documents. And we're showing 3 documents right here, but you could upload like 1,000 to even 1,000,000 files, connect it to a data source like Microsoft SharePoint, S3, Google Drive, and load and embed and index that into a searchable knowledge base for your agents. So if you go into this playground right here, you actually get a little bit of a preview of what this looks like. So this allows you to basically test out the endpoint exposed through indexing your knowledge base, and allows you to basically kind of just chat with it and get a sense that it's working the way it should. And so I'm asking it about travel rates in New York, and it's basically fetching the kind of like entire Excel documents that basically lists all the travel rates per city and country. So if you go into the overview, this is where you can actually integrate this within your code. You can integrate this with Python and also TypeScript. And so this is just the first step, right? So we're going to be using Llama Cloud as a knowledge base and basically putting that as one of the components that you actually use in this overall AI agent. And this AI agent that I'm going to show in just a bit is using our open source framework and allows you to easily spin up an agentic reasoning loop over this data that can answer questions and then also solve other types of tasks. So I'm going to just switch over to the code base view really quick and just show you how this is actually plugged into an end-to-end agent. And then afterwards, I'm going to pass it to Taki and then basically show you how you can actually run this within UiPath, which is the exciting part. So I'll zoom in really quick, with my cursor IDE. And then here, you have Llama Cloud index as accessed through the Python SDK. You just import like Llama Cloud services. You define Llama Cloud index, and then you also want to define an LLM connection. A lot of this code is then basically delivered through our open source framework, which is complementary to Llama Cloud in the sense that it's basically the set of libraries that you as a developer would use to build a complex, sophisticated multi-agent system. So if Llama Cloud provides the data building blocks, then the framework basically contains the orchestration on top of these building blocks to help you compose various types of workflows. There's a few different types of agents that you might create. One category of agents is around these like chatbot assistant agents, which is basically what we're going to be showing you today. It's going to take in an input request, answer questions over your data, and surface back the right response. There is also, a general set of agents that are a little bit more akin to end-to-end workflows. So, I mean, that's actually probably right within UiPath's wheelhouse, but, given some input, actually execute some end-to-end process that basically delivers the output. So like invoice processing is a great example of that. Obviously, with any type of agent, there's usually a mix between the two. The first is a little bit more like your deep research type agents where you have high human in the loop. The second is a little bit more of a constrained process. And in general, an agent might have a little bit of a mix of the two categories. So in this specific agent, and this quick start we're going to show you, we're going to basically build an agent system that is a very simple thing. I'll just go to the system prompt right here. You're a helpful travel assistant that can search through company travel policies and personal preferences to provide comprehensive travel guidance. And we are going to build this agent using our LlamaIndex agent wrapper. And this is effectively allows you to spin up an agent with one line of code. Well, that's simplifying a little bit, but basically you can get like an agent as long as you define the set of tools that the agent has access to through functions. What this basically gives you is you define an overall agent that can reason over some set of tools given a user input and decide which tools to take in to actually solve the task at hand. It can take in an LLM integration, and we integrate with pretty much every LLM provider out there through the open source framework. And after taking in the user input, it'll reason through the tools and provide the output, which is response to the question. A lot of the key tricks in terms of building the right agent at this level of abstraction is providing the right set of tools, because these tools are basically the external services that you're giving to the agent that can reason about to, you can provide more context to the agent or allow it to take actions. So here we're really providing just like three types of tools. There's search company policy, search personal preferences, and get travel recommendation. You can see that we've defined these indexes over this data already. Like the company policies are within our Llama Cloud index 1, and then your personal preferences are in a TXT file within another Llama Cloud index. So what these tools are doing is basically just fetching the information from the index, and you define that through code by integrating with our SDK endpoints, and then returning out a concatenated text string that then gets fed to the agent's context window. So what search company policy is doing is it's just retrieving the top K most relevant like chunks from the specific index and returning that as like a text string that you then feed to the agent system. And here you can see the output is just like a string. Search personal preferences is pretty similar. You basically just like fetch from that index, and then you return that as a concatenated text string too. Get travel recommendation is a third function that you provide as a tool to the agent. It's not doing anything super fancy. All it's doing is it's just, searching the company policy and then also searching personal preferences and combining that into one output. So this is just like a convenience tool that you also provide to the agent that can execute these two things sequentially. So you provide these tools as Python functions, the function agent, and then through just some like basic code, you can basically run this agent locally and get back the output. I think one of the kind of challenges in building, maintaining these agent systems is, from a library or framework perspective, it's very easy to run like Python code just locally. You could even build an agent from scratch too. You don't have to use our framework. But I think one of the challenges is how you actually build, maintain, and host these agents. And I think that's where UiPath comes in, or the integration between our stuff and UiPath. And I think what we'll show you next is once you have this code, how do you run it locally? But then how do you actually deploy it through a hosted service, and then analyze the full set of like intermediate outputs, so you have visibility into what's actually going on under the hood. And allows you to also do like evaluations and observe what's going on within the system. So I think that's basically it from my side. But without further ado, passing it back to Taqi.
Thank you, Jerry. So, we love the sort of power and convenience and community around LlamaIndex, right? So our idea is to let people cook in LlamaIndex, build whatever they want, using the tools that they want. So using Cursor, using Python, everything like that. So, but then when it comes time to deploy your agents in these sort of enterprises, which are very security conscious, very compliance conscious, et cetera. So that's where we think we have a great tool set. So let me share my screen, just like you were. And this is the same agent that you were showing, Jerry. And what I'm going to show the audience is we have the CLI. You can pipex install it. It's the UiPath CLI. And I'm just going to go into this UiPath dev mode. And as you were saying, this allows me to completely run this agent locally and sort of play around with it. So I can just say, take me to Phoenix, Arizona, and it's going to run this agent locally just like it would run in UiPath. And I'm going to show you this agent running in UiPath in a second. But the point right here is this is a very familiar developer experience for people. It's just a CLI. This uses the shout out to Textual. This uses their sort of CLI interface. You can see all the tool calls here, Jerry, that you were talking about, et cetera, right? And once you're done debugging it and playing around with it, of course, you can pack and publish this directly into UiPath. So you can say UiPath pack. That sort of creates a package here, an orchestrator package for the UiPath folks in the audience. That'd be familiar. And then you can also just directly from here go UiPath publish, right? So I did that previously to save time. And once you've done the UiPath publish, that package will appear in UiPath Orchestrator as a process that you can run, right? And again, that might not be very familiar to the LlamaIndex folks in the audience. I urge you to go try it. We have this free tier that you can sign up for. And I just want to say that, with our experience as UiPath, we're a robotic process automation company, right? So we've been running these robotic processes for a while. And we're really excited about agents because agents are non-deterministic. They have these goals, they can do these complex tasks, whereas robots are deterministic, rules-based, very efficient, etc. So what's the super powerful thing over here, and I want to switch over right now to a process view, is, in practice, these agents don't work in isolation. There are these complex business processes, Jerry, that you were talking about. For example, a company may have a travel approval process, or some sort of a performance review process or a procure to pay process or something like that, right? These are things that companies do very regularly. And what can happen now is now that the Llama Index agent is published to my UiPath tenant, it can participate as a node inside one of those complex business processes. So here you can see, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. This is some sort of a complex travel approval process, right? And you submit a travel request, and this is that agent that Jerry you were just showing. So you can go get some travel rates and then, manager approval and sort of checking with finance if you're allowed, et cetera, booking the travel arrangements, all that kind of downstream stuff can happen, right? So this is super powerful, I like to say. And this is what we call orchestration. So you can orchestrate this agent with people, with robots. You might have some UI automation written in UiPath or computer use automation, etc. So you could bring all that stuff together into a cohesive orchestration. And not just sort of bring it together, but you can also let's see, let's go back here. I'm gonna get lost a little bit. That's okay. So let's go here. It's not just about orchestrating these things, it's also about running them at scale. So here you can see that all my different business processes have actually been running. You can see some analytics, how long are they taking, etc. Maybe some of them failed. So you can go in and drill in on why they failed, etc. You can look at some analytics about what is taking long and so on, right? So uh, you can even version them. So because some of these business processes take a very long time to run, especially if there's humans in the loop. So sometimes you might even want to upgrade a process live while it's still running. So all that power of an industrial scale process orchestration platform is available here with UiPath Maestro. So um, in summary, uh, I think I'm a huge fan of this sort of combination of a framework like LlamaIndex and a platform like UiPath. If I were to reflect on why somebody would like to use LlamaIndex and UiPath together, and I would love your take on this as well, Jerry, is first of all, UiPath gives you these enterprise-grade deployments, which are proven, secure, compliant. We're already at, a large percentage of the Fortune 100. So if you're one of those developers at these Fortune 100 companies, and you want to develop agents, you might want to check out LlamaIndex because then you can just deploy it on your existing UiPath infrastructure. You also get all these additional platform capabilities. I showed you UiPath Maestro. You might want to check out UiPath Robots. We have UI automations. We have Action Center. We have so many other things in UiPath that you can sort of orchestrate together with your agent. And last but not least, these sort of operational capabilities that I was showing, versioning things, looking at where they failed, sort of looking at heat maps or where they're slow, etc. So that's it for me. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. This is fun. For the UiPath folks in the audience, I think there's a fantastic call to action, which is please go check out LlamaIndex and LlamaCloud. It's super powerful. It's an amazing community. Follow Jerry on X and develop agents. And if you're not a coder, that's okay. And maybe Jerry, you can reflect on this as well. The barrier to entry of writing code is reducing, right? I saw Jerry was using Cursor. So you can use all these vibe coding tools to create your LlamaIndex agents, and then yes, publish them to UiPath for this enterprise grade infrastructure that we have. And maybe Jerry,
Yeah.
you have a call to action for your LlamaIndex audience.
Yeah, speaking of which, I think I'll start with just why I think this is valuable. I think one of the value propositions of using code to build agents is you can really go in pretty deep and build pretty customizable agentic workflows that can, automate specific business processes or look up like specialized sources of data in order to actually help like solve various tasks for specific business users. I think the advantage of the integration with UiPath is basically along the lines of what Taki said. One, they have some nice services to help you build, deploy, host, trace, and eval these agents. Two, and this might be even bigger, is actually it helps provide like some comment interface that allows you to tie in this agent into some broader ecosystem of integrations. And I think having a common language of like plugging in code into some other interfaces where you can drag and drop like other modules and basically connect everything into an end-to-end workflow is quite powerful. I think it allows you to basically govern various types of processes, view both like specialized processes as well as zoom out and look at how like the broader orchestration is going. We work with a lot of enterprises, and it's basically this mix between like specialized agents and kind of broader agents. In terms of call to actions, one, definitely check out Llama Cloud. I think a lot of our secret sauce is around like document processing and indexing. And so, in this case, we showed like TXT files. I would also encourage you to throw in your most complicated PDF and let us know how you think it does. Number two, we actually do have vibe coding capabilities too, where all of us use Cursor and all the other IDE tools. We have this project called Live Llama, where it basically will seed Cursor with the prompts to build an AI agent with Llama Cloud and LlamaIndex. I tried it out. You can basically build these agents in like 3 minutes if you don't want to actually write the code. And so, I would encourage you guys to check that out.
Yeah, that's actually a super powerful message. Great thing to end on, because the UiPath audience, it's a huge community. It's a vibrant community. But, classically has perhaps focused more on low code. But I know a lot of people are very excited about coding and vibe coding. So definitely, folks, check out Vibe Llama and all the other tools, and let's build some agents, folks. Let's get them to production. Thank you very much, Jerry, for your time today.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
thank you.
Thank you.